Apple versus Samsung has always been the cause of division between the mass. iPhone versus Galaxy, iOS versus Android, design versus convenience. But the difference between the two technology moguls lies deep in their business models. Apple focuses on really small number of products to make the base for the few well-pocketed. Samsung, on the other hand, focuses on many products to reach every user. But regardless of their differences, all companies have one thing in common. Whatever products they make echo the voice of the company and its founders. Apple has always been and will probably always be related to Steve Jobs. Everything that Apple was and is connected to him. And everything Apple does, Jobs set the culture. And that culture, specialization. See, at Apple, everybody has a role that is specifically assigned to them. They're responsible for no more, no less. For example, the person who runs Apple's online stores has no authority whatsoever on the photographs on the site. That's the graphics department's job. This is the setup throughout the entire company. Jobs justified this type of specialization process as having the best-in-class employee in every role. This culture is embodied in Apple's products. Apple's biggest competitor, Huawei, made 6 devices in the year 2018 and hit its 200 millionth smartphone sale. Samsung made 10, but Apple made only 3. This gives Apple the upper hand in making the best of 1 or 2 products and making people want to buy them. In big lines, no less. When the iPhone 6 was released, hundreds of people waited in line for hours and some even days. Apple can sell 2 or 3 types of phones, tens of thousands an hour for $999 a piece, not because it's the only phone there is, but because working on a small number of products gives it the ability to focus on details and design. The year Apple came out with the iPhone 6, Samsung introduced 19 devices, and yet Apple made $39.5 billion while Samsung made only $21.8 in the same year from the phone sector. The problem is not money either. Oh no. Apple can make 100 different types of phones ready for the market in days. But at Apple, saying no is as important, if not more, as saying yes. And that grants Apple the kinghood in brand loyalty. Samsung is a different story. A big one too. See, Samsung is not one company. It's a conglomerate. It makes ships, skyscrapers, and consumer electronics, among other things. Some really questionable. It's a Korean company, timely accused of being hierarchical and dominated by the founding family. Samsung and Apple were the best of friends back in the days. The war broke out when Samsung introduced its very first smartphone, the Galaxy, 2 years after the iPhone came out. On the ground that the new Galaxy looked very much like the iPhone, Apple sued for patent infringement in a lawsuit that continued for 7 years. In the process, Apple had a relative victory and Samsung lost billions of dollars. That's the culture of Samsung. Not stealing, but learning from their competitors. They see what the user likes and, well, they make it. That's what happened with the Note series. A market research revealed that Asian language speakers preferred larger devices that they could write on with a pen, because Asian characters are easier to write with one. And with no hesitation, Samsung introduced the Note. It was a big hit. Unlike Apple, Samsung is flexible, producing much different types of phones for a wider range of customers. Samsung is a phone for everybody, while Apple is just for, quote, the rich. There is no $200 iPhone, but over 20 Samsung ones. The other secret to the success of Samsung is its electronic parts business. Samsung is the largest chip maker in the world, providing OLED display, NAND flash, and DRAM for Apple. In other words, Apple increases the power of Samsung financially. Samsung does not make a $200 phone because they're a big, generous phone god, but because the losses they suffer from low prices, they make up for by the money from their other business. This way, Samsung can ensure you can buy a $200 Samsung phone today and pay $999 when you upgrade tomorrow. If you're the kind of person that values freedom in the way you use your device and freedom of choice, Samsung is the undisputed winner. But if your security, design, and interface matter more, or if you're simply an Apple person, Apple is the champ. Either ways, you get to enjoy the benefits of a business war. See, when companies compete, it's you and I that get to enjoy the benefits. When either company lowers price, adds an extra feature, or introduces a better technology, you get to have the best for relatively cheaper. This is the same across all fields. When YouTubers try to get your subscription, they make better content like this one and subtly ask you to subscribe by clicking right there. They might also recommend other videos like this that you will enjoy. Then you get a free box somewhere below where you can say your piece, ask any question, or comment on the video. We might ask you to do those, but one thing we always tell you is to stay interesting.